Across the silent, starlit canvas of the ancient desert, a solitary procession moves. 3 figures, cloaked and mounted, emerge from the vastness, their journey illuminated not by the dawn, but by an impossible light in the night sky. This is the image etched into the collective memory of billions. The Magi, guided by a star, bearing gifts for a newborn king. It is a scene of profound mystery, deep spiritual significance, and enduring artistic inspiration. But beyond the stained glass and the carols, what do we truly know of these enigmatic travelers? Were they kings, as legend asserts, or perhaps wise men, astrologers, or priests? And was the star that led them a miraculous beacon, a celestial event, or something else entirely? These are questions that have echoed through millennia, inviting us to delve deeper into the origins of this compelling narrative. For centuries, this iconic journey has captivated imaginations, shaping religious narratives and cultural traditions across the globe. We picture them traversing desolate dunes, their faces set with purpose, following a beacon that defied ordinary understanding. This mental image, often embellished with rich robes, crowns, and a diverse retinue, is a product of centuries of interpretation and artistic license. But the historical record, scant as it may be, offers a different, often more ambiguous perspective. Our quest begins by unraveling the layers of myth and history, seeking to understand the true identity of these figures and the nature of their extraordinary pilgrimage. Join us as we journey into the hidden past, separating fact from the powerful narrative that has shaped our world. Was their quest a historical event, or a compelling fable born from the crucible of early Christian belief? The answers, as we shall see, are far more complex and fascinating than the simple stories suggest. Let's explore the shadows and the light. Our journey into the hidden past begins, as all discussions of the Magi must, with the most fundamental source, the Gospel of Matthew. It is here, and here alone within the biblical canon, that we find the narrative of these enigmatic visitors. Matthew's account is surprisingly brief, yet profoundly influential. He writes of Magi from the east who arrive in Jerusalem, declaring, "Where is the one who has been born King of the Jews? We saw his star when it rose and have come to worship him." He writes of Magi from the east who arrive in Jerusalem, declaring, "Where is the one who has been born King of the Jews? We saw his star when it rose and have come to worship him." This simple declaration sets in motion a chain of events that leads them to Bethlehem, guided by the very star they observed. There they find the young child with his mother Mary, prostrate themselves, and offer their renowned gifts, gold, frankincense, and myrrh. What is striking about Matthew's account is not just what it says, but crucially, what it doesn't say. The text never specifies how many Magi there were. Tradition later settled on 3, likely due to the number of gifts. The text never specifies how many Magi there were. Tradition later settled on 3, likely due to the number of gifts. They are not called kings, but magoi, a term typically referring to Persian or Babylonian astrologers, wise men, or priests, individuals skilled in interpreting dreams and celestial phenomena. There are no names provided, no mention of camels, no crowns, and certainly no diverse racial origins. The grand retinue, the arduous desert trek, the regal attire, these are all later embellishments, born from centuries of interpretation, theological reflection, and artistic imagination seeking to expand upon Matthew's sparse yet potent details. The other Gospels, Mark, Luke, and John, are entirely silent on the matter, further highlighting the singular origin of this powerful story within the Christian tradition. This biblical whisper, though concise, laid the foundational bedrock for a legend that would grow exponentially. Indeed, from that concise biblical whisper, the legend of the Magi truly blossomed, evolving dramatically over centuries through theological interpretation and artistic imagination. Initially, in the earliest Christian art, such as simple catacomb frescoes from the 2nd and 3rd centuries, the Magi were depicted sparsely, often as 2 to 4 anonymous figures, sometimes in simple Phrygian caps or Persian attire, presenting their humble offerings to Mary and the Christ child. They were rarely crowned, clearly reflecting their original designation as magoi, wise men or astrologers, not royalty, and certainly not the grand figures we know today. The pivotal shift began in the early Middle Ages. Influenced by Old Testament prophecies like Psalm 72, which speaks of kings from Tarshish and Sheba bringing gifts, and Isaiah 60, mentioning kings bearing gold and frankincense, the Magi gradually transformed into kings. This regal interpretation gained significant traction, solidifying their royal status. The number 3 also became standard, directly correlating with the 3 distinct gifts mentioned by Matthew. By the 6th century, specific names, Caspar, Melchior, and Balthazar, emerged from apocryphal texts and popular tradition, cementing their individual identities and distinct personalities. The High Middle Ages and Renaissance saw the culmination of this artistic and theological evolution. Here, the Magi are grandly portrayed as opulent monarchs, often depicted with magnificent retinues and exotic animals, traversing vast landscapes. Critically, during this period, their racial diversity also became prominent. Balthazar, in particular, was frequently portrayed as an African king, symbolizing the universal reach of Christ's message across the then-known world's continents. This profound transformation from anonymous, wise stargazers to crowned, named, and racially diverse kings underscores how cultural and religious narratives actively shape and enrich foundational texts, transforming a brief mention into an iconic and universally recognized tableau, rich in symbolism and artistic grandeur. From the evolving narratives of legend, we turn our gaze to the very source of the Magi's reputed wisdom, the ancient Near East, specifically Mesopotamia and Persia. Before their transformation into kings, the Magi were widely understood as a priestly class, highly esteemed for their profound knowledge of astrology, medicine, and dream interpretation. It is within this intellectual cradle, spanning from Babylonia to the vast Persian Empire, that we find the most sophisticated astronomical traditions of the ancient world. For millennia, Mesopotamian civilizations meticulously charted the heavens. Priests and scribes, often trained at esteemed temples and observatories, spent countless nights documenting the intricate movements of planets, stars, and celestial phenomena. Their cuneiform tablets, now deciphered, reveal an astonishing precision in predicting eclipses and mapping planetary cycles, a level of scientific sophistication far surpassing many contemporary civilizations. This was not mere scientific inquiry. It was a profound spiritual and political endeavor, deeply interwoven with their worldview. Celestial events were considered potent omens, direct messages from the gods, dictating the fate of kings, empires, and even individuals. A comet, a new star, or an unusual planetary conjunction could signify the birth of a great ruler, the fall of a dynasty, or impending war. The appearance of a new star in the east, as mentioned in Matthew's Gospel, would have been interpreted by such learned individuals not as a miraculous anomaly in the modern sense, but as a potent, divinely orchestrated celestial sign of immense significance, pointing to a momentous event or the arrival of a new destined king. Thus, the narrative of the Magi aligns perfectly with the intellectual and spiritual landscape of their era. These were individuals who dedicated their lives to understanding the cosmic dance, utilizing tools like astrolabes and detailed star charts, translating its silent language into earthly prophecies. Their journey, spurred by a celestial compass, speaks volumes about a world where the heavens were an open book, eagerly read for signs of destiny and divine will. With their celestial interpretation affirmed, the Magi's arrival heralded not only a moment of recognition, but also a symbolic exchange, epitomized by the enigmatic gifts they presented: gold, frankincense, and myrrh. These were not arbitrary offerings. Each held profound cultural, economic, and spiritual significance in the ancient Near East, often reserved for royalty, divinity, or used in sacred rituals. Gold, a universal symbol of kingship and wealth, represented the earthly power and sovereign authority of the child. In a world where rulers were often seen as divine or divinely appointed, a gift of gold underscored an acknowledgement of the infant's extraordinary status, aligning with prophecies of a king who would reign. This precious metal was exchanged in temples, paid as tribute to emperors, and fashioned into crowns and ornaments for the most revered figures. Frankincense, an aromatic resin derived from trees, was highly valued for its use in religious ceremonies. Its sweet, fragrant smoke was believed to carry prayers to the heavens, making it a fitting offering for a deity. In ancient temples, from Egypt to Jerusalem, frankincense purified spaces and honored the divine presence, suggesting the child's sacred nature and potential role as a high priest or even a manifestation of the divine. It was a costly commodity, traded across vast desert routes, prized for its spiritual application. Finally, myrrh, another fragrant resin, possessed a dual significance. While also used in perfumery and sacred anointing oils, its primary association in this context was with embalming and medicine. Myrrh was a key component in ancient funerary practices, used to preserve bodies and ease suffering. This gift therefore carried a poignant, almost prophetic undertone, subtly hinting at the child's mortality, suffering, and ultimate sacrifice, foreshadowing a destiny intertwined with both life and death. Together, these three gifts, gold for kingship, frankincense for divinity, and myrrh for suffering and death, painted a powerful, multi-layered portrait of the infant's foretold destiny. They were not merely tokens of respect from wise men. They were a complex, prophetic declaration, a silent narrative whispered through ancient commodities, laying bare the profound significance of the child they had journeyed so far to honor. The term Magi, central to the biblical narrative, resonates far beyond Bethlehem. To grasp their true origins, we journey eastward to ancient Persia, where Magus or Magi denoted a powerful priestly caste within the Zoroastrian religion. Founded by the prophet Zoroaster, centuries before Christ, this faith was one of the world's first monotheistic religions, influencing later Abrahamic traditions. Zoroastrianism posited a cosmic struggle between truth and falsehood, light and darkness, epitomized by the sacred veneration of fire as a symbol of divine truth. These Persian Magi were hereditary priests, guardians of sacred knowledge and rituals, respected for their profound understanding of astronomy, astrology, and divination. Their duties included conducting intricate fire rituals, advising kings, and preserving ancient traditions. They meticulously observed celestial bodies, believing that heavenly movements held omens and revelations, perfectly aligning with the narrative of a guiding star. With the Persian Empire's expansion, the Magi's influence spread across the Near East. By the Hellenistic period, magus became synonymous with wise man or astrologer, a testament to their renowned expertise. When Matthew's Gospel describes Magi journeying from the East, it likely draws upon this archetype: learned, observant figures steeped in ancient wisdom and celestial interpretation, hailing from a tradition that meticulously sought divine signs. Their journey was not merely physical, but a symbolic bridge between ancient Persian spiritual heritage and a new religious epoch, adding profound historical depth. The biblical Magi thus become representatives of an ancient lineage of truth seekers. The biblical Magi, as we've explored, are deeply rooted in a rich historical and cultural tapestry, drawing from ancient Persian wisdom and celestial observation. However, when we turn to the hard evidence of archaeology, the landscape changes dramatically. Unlike monumental kings or vast empires, the journey of a few wise men across the desert, however significant theologically, leaves scant physical trace for archaeologists to uncover. The vast, sun-baked lands of the Middle East, a cradle of civilization, have yielded countless treasures: ancient cities, grand palaces, intricate artifacts, and countless inscriptions that illuminate long-lost cultures. Yet, despite extensive excavations and an ever-growing understanding of the ancient world, there is a profound silence concerning any direct, corroborating archaeological evidence for the specific journey of the Magi as described in Matthew's Gospel. This silence is not necessarily an indictment of the biblical narrative, but rather a reflection of the challenges inherent in archaeological inquiry. The kinds of evidence required to confirm such a specific event, an unusual star observed by specific individuals traveling from the east to Bethlehem, are extremely rare, almost impossible to find. We unearth foundations of temples and the remains of ordinary homes, but the ephemeral trail of a small group of travelers across thousands of miles of desert leaves no lasting material footprint. No inscribed tablet records their names. No unique artifact points to their exact route or destination. Modern archaeology often focuses on broader cultural patterns, economic systems, and monumental structures, rather than transient individual movements. The absence of evidence, in this case, forces us to consider the nature of the Gospel accounts less as historical reports in a modern sense, and more as theological narratives rich with symbolic meaning. It shifts our focus from proving a specific historical event to understanding its profound impact and the enduring power of its message. While archaeology offers a profound silence regarding the tangible trail of the Magi, their symbolic presence in human history echoes with unparalleled resonance. For centuries, across diverse cultures and countless artistic mediums, the narrative of these Eastern sages has been etched, painted, and sculpted into the very fabric of religious devotion. This enduring artistic legacy stands as a testament to the story's profound theological weight, transcending any need for physical corroboration. From the dim, hallowed chambers of early Christian catacombs in Rome, where rudimentary frescoes depicted figures presenting gifts to an enthroned Madonna, to the intricately carved sarcophagi of the Roman Empire, the Magi's image was taking root. These early portrayals, often sparse and symbolic, underscored their role as the first Gentiles to acknowledge Christ, signifying the universal reach of the nascent faith. As Christianity matured and spread, so too did the grandeur of these artistic interpretations. The Byzantine Empire, with its opulent mosaics, elevated the Magi from simple sages to regal figures adorned in rich Eastern silks. Imagine the shimmering golden tesserae of Ravenna, where the three are shown processing, crowns emerging, their identities becoming distinct. This transformation from anonymous wise men to venerated kings, often named Caspar, Melchior, and Balthazar, solidified their status as figures of awe and reverence. The medieval period further enriched this visual tradition. Stained glass windows in towering Gothic cathedrals like Chartres bathed sanctuaries in kaleidoscopic light, telling the Magi's story with vibrant detail. Intricate carvings on church portals, altarpieces, and illuminated manuscripts continued to evolve their iconography, depicting them representing the three known continents: Asia, Africa, Europe, a powerful symbol of humanity united in worship. Ultimately, the archaeological silence does not diminish the Magi's impact. Instead, it highlights how their story, steeped in spiritual rather than material truths, has profoundly shaped art, theology, and popular imagination. Their journey, whether factual or allegorical, continues to inspire, a timeless symbol of seeking and finding the divine. While the enduring artistic and theological portrayals of the Magi satisfied the spiritual imagination, humanity's yearning for tangible connection often leads to the veneration of relics. This desire for physical proof, for a direct link to the revered, manifests powerfully in the story of the Magi's supposed earthly remains. Tradition asserts that the bones of Caspar, Melchior, and Balthasar, the three kings, were discovered in Persia by Empress Helena, mother of Constantine, during her 4th century pilgrimage to the Holy Land. These precious relics embarked on an extraordinary journey. First, they were transported to Constantinople, the heart of the Byzantine Empire, housed with profound reverence for centuries. From Constantinople, their odyssey continued, eventually finding a temporary home in the grand city of Milan, a prominent center of early Christian power. For over 5 centuries, Milan cherished these purported relics, making them a significant pilgrimage site. However, their most famous and enduring resting place came in 1164. Following the conquest of Milan by Holy Roman Emperor Friedrich Barbarossa, the relics were seized as spoils of war and gifted to Reinald of Dassel, Archbishop of Cologne. This momentous transfer transformed Cologne into one of Europe's most important pilgrimage destinations during the medieval period. To house these immensely significant relics, the magnificent Cologne Cathedral, a masterpiece of Gothic architecture, was specifically constructed. Inside, the Shrine of the Three Kings, an opulent, gilded sarcophagus adorned with intricate carvings and jewels, became the sacred repository. Pilgrims from across the continent flocked to gaze upon this shrine, believing they stood before the actual remains of those who knelt before the infant Christ. Despite the lack of scientific or archaeological verification for these claims, a common thread with many ancient relics, the presence of the Shrine of the Three Kings in Cologne continues. It stands not as a testament to historical fact in the modern sense, but to the profound power of faith, tradition, and collective belief. This enduring pilgrimage site embodies the persistent human quest to bridge the gap between the ethereal and the tangible, transforming legend into a physical focus for devotion. While the Cologne Shrine underscores faith's power, it highlights the chasm between myth and verifiable history. The Magi narrative originates from a concise account in Matthew's Gospel. This sparse text mentions wise men from the east following a star to find Jesus, offering gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Matthew specifies no number, names, royal status, or distinct ethnic origins. These embellishments, three kings, Caspar, Melchior, Balthasar, representing diverse continents, emerged from centuries of theological interpretation, apocryphal legends and artistic imagination, not direct biblical revelation. The Star of Bethlehem remains a mystery. Astronomers propose natural phenomena. Theologians perceive it as a miraculous event. Yet archaeological excavations across the Near East yield no independent contemporary evidence corroborating a historical journey. Historical records outside sacred texts remain profoundly silent. Scholars view the Magi narrative primarily as a theological statement, a powerful symbol of Gentile recognition of Christ's divinity, rather than a journalistic report. Thus, the magnificent image of three kings, crowned and bearing gifts, endures not as fact, but as a deeply embedded cultural and spiritual archetype. It illustrates humanity's inherent need for stories that transcend the mundane, imbuing foundational narratives with wonder and universal significance. This enduring narrative, whether literal or symbolic, inspires awe and reflection, shaping religious understanding and artistic expression globally. While historical silence challenges a literal interpretation, the Magi's story, far from fading, has become a profound cultural and spiritual archetype. Today, enduring reverence for these wise men manifests in vibrant traditions across the globe, particularly during the Feast of Epiphany, celebrated on January 6th. In Spain, the Cabalgata de Reyes, or Cavalcade of Magi, transforms cities into scenes of joyous spectacle. Grand processions feature elaborately costumed kings, Caspar, Melchior, and Balthazar, riding floats, distributing sweets and gifts to eager children. These parades are living tapestries of ancient lore, reenacting myth with fervent devotion, connecting generations through shared wonder and generosity. Across Latin America, Dia de Reyes, or King's Day, is a cherished occasion, often rivaling Christmas in importance. Families gather for festive meals, children receive presents, and the beloved Rosca de Reyes, a sweet ring-shaped bread, often concealing a small figurine of the infant Jesus, is shared. The one who finds the figurine hosts the next celebration, ensuring tradition's joyful continuity. Here, the Magi are not distant figures, but intimate parts of family life, symbolizing hope and new beginnings. Beyond these overt celebrations, the imagery of the wise travelers permeates countless works of art, literature, and seasonal customs worldwide. Their narrative, whether historical account or theological allegory, embodies the universal human quest for wisdom, divinity, and the recognition of the extraordinary. The Magi, therefore, serve as a powerful testament to narrative's enduring power. They remind us that some stories, even when woven from belief rather than documented fact, possess an unparalleled ability to shape cultures, inspire awe, and connect peoples. Their enduring reverence invites us to ponder the profound impact of such tales and how they become fundamental to our understanding of the world, offering guiding stars for our own journeys of discovery.